Hey guys, this is Carlos Fraser from Tax So Tips. And the reason we made this video is because we see a lot of videos where people talk about, oh, there's going to be so much money coming down the road, or this is going to be the worst year ever, the stock market's going to crash, or the housing market's going to crash. Our thing is, doesn't matter what's going to happen, you have to understand about your finances. You have to understand your money. And I brought Jonathan on for this because Jonathan is a financial advisor, and me and him think the same way because you have a holistic approach, which I really love. And we were talking about the inner child, and we want to talk about the inner child on finances.
Yeah, so I actually have come from a household that my parents were statistic. Unfortunately, they were divorced. And I remember after that, sports was a big part of my life, and I liked to play on different travel teams. I needed equipment. At one point in time, I did have lessons for a little bit. And I remember there was a time where it was getting a little bit more serious by the time I got to high school. And I wanted to be active on more teams, be active with lessons. And my parents and my mom, who I lived with at the time, was like, yeah, listen, it's just not in the budget right now. And I just remember that sparked a moment for me where I was like, why not? And asking questions and being curious as to why isn't that affordable? I was thinking, aren't you making money? Haven't you worked a lot? Don't you have money available? And just realizing that yeah, she's working, but she's living paycheck to paycheck. So any extra expense aside from things that are necessities just were out of the question. And it was at that moment that I realized wow, I need to, when I do start making money, it really shaped my relationship for that later down the road once I started to make money.
So with me, my inner child, my first time I had a thing with money is I took some money from my parents and I bought a sneaker because they couldn't buy me the sneakers I wanted. And I got caught and I got punishment for, I swear to God, at least a week. But they let me keep the sneakers. And I learned from that point on that money is important because my parents told me we need this money to buy food. $65 in 1995 or 1994 was a lot of money. So we want to focus on what was your first thought process with money.
Here's a call to action. We have an inner child budget journal. What we would love for you to do is to go to that journal and write down what we just expressed, what we shared about ourselves, our inner child moments of the budget. The inner child is a young part of our psyche that influences how we think and react as adults. It's often used in psychotherapy and spiritual settings. The inner child can symbolize hardship, trauma, or even triumph we experience during our childhood. The first thing we're asking is, what is your most vivid memory about money, good or bad? And just write something about it. And then we want to know, what advice would you give to your younger self about money? What do you think you are missing right at this moment financially? What do you love the most about money? Define the boundaries when it comes to money. Do you lend or borrow? And what do you look for when you are struggling with money? Do you look at your numbers or do you complain and worry? Those are very important things.
There's an African proverb that says, you have a mind, and your mind is like the ground. And the words that you say are the seeds. And just like the ground, you could plant vegetables, you could plant flowers, you could plant poison. As long as you feed that ground, the ground will grow whatever it is. So we want to change the mindset so you can see that words that you say create aspects in your life. So we want you to get an understanding of who you are. And that's the main focus of this basic video.
Be strong. Be strong.